Hey guys, welcome. This is Eddie with the Crippled Handyman. I am going to give you a couple tips um, in making your car buying experience less stressful. Um, Obviously, I don't think anybody enjoys having to go buy a used car, new car, doesn't matter. And a couple things that obviously once you kind of know, um, if you all heard all your basically fixed income shouldn't be any higher than 60% a month of your net income monthly. So say your net monthly income is $5,000 and 60% of that would be like $3,000. That should be the cap of your bills. I think a lot of people are running 80%, 95%. But and then if that's the case, they have these percentages of how much car you can afford. And they talk about 10 to 15% of your net monthly income. And so 10% of $5,000 is $500. That's, counting gas, insurance, the whole 9 yards. 15% would be $750. I think most Americans are probably hitting 15, 20, probably 30%. And for your younger folks, younger generations, um, to make this experience less stressful for yourself. And these are some rules I go with. I've been doing it like this for, let me see, I've been doing it this way. I never had a problem paying my payments. I always had a good job and all that. But to make my experience less stressful, because I hate going into the dealership and they want to haggle. And I do remember my first experience when I was like 20 years old. Now I'm 55. I'm a Gen X. I'm not a boomer. Everyone will go, oh, you're a boomer. No, I'm a Gen X. But I remember going in. My father was trying to kind of show me how to do it and all this stuff. And we just based on like the truck was for sale. Obviously, I wish those prices were still here today. And with all this technology and computer crap, that's why cars are so expensive. We could thank the government for that because they want all these regulations, all these safety standards in these vehicles. These vehicles are expensive. So he just remember like, oh yeah, I'll give you 14,000 for that truck. And the guy's like, oh no, thinking we're going to do a car payment thing. Back in the old days, guys, it was a matter of you go in and you tell them how much you're going to pay for the car. You never spoke about a car payment. And so what I'm going to help you with, is to make that experience a lot easier. Um, my wife and I, we were just in that situation. I did all my homework, made all my phone calls, and with these easy steps, it's going to make your experience easier. We were in, test drove, and out in less than 3 hours. Okay. We did this a week ago, last Tuesday. Tomorrow, we're picking up our new surprise. And it took a week. So if you got to be patient, but this is how it actually threw the salesman off. He was actually my age, and he was like, "Wow, it's been years since it's been done like that." And this is how why I was confident and came in with the right attitude, and we knew what we were looking for. And so, let's get into it. Let me dive into this. It's not a secret. It's more or less what everybody should be doing today, because this whole car payment thing is so out of control. Costs of vehicles are out of freaking control. And this will set you to where you know what you can afford. And without having the stress of a dealer, even a dealer, the financing department, even trying to, you know, get a few more bucks out of you. So here we go. Let's get into it. So the first thing, wife and I, um, we're looking to get another vehicle. And I know what she wants. She knew exactly what she wanted. I go online And there was only actually two different dealerships out here. The one dealership, they only have new. I didn't see any used on their lot, zero. So I had to go to this other dealership. This had to been the largest dealership I ever seen in my life. I've been to enough dealers and bought enough cars in my time, and just to know, like, holy, this is big. It was like an amusement park. And so I found a vehicle. I'm texting it to my wife, showing her pictures. She's like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna wait." Well, we were, but my truck transmission took a crap. That's in the shop now, getting a new transmission. I haven't had a vehicle for over a week. It sucks. But so the first thing you want to do is start shopping. Um, that's not the first thing. It's kind of, well, it is kind of the first thing. When you know what your monthly payment kind of be, there's calculators and so forth. So you have a ballpark of what you're willing to spend. And when I say spend, you're going to have a monthly payment and you're going to have car insurance. Okay. Vehicles take gas. Gasoline motors take gas, obviously, or diesel. So pick like 3 cars, okay? 3 or 4 cars. I don't care. Whatever you're interested, whatever you are on the market for, okay? Now, if you don't have a credit union, I recommend getting a credit union or using your own bank. But I highly recommend a credit union. We have a credit union. We have actually 2 different credit unions. And the one I've been with for 11 years, they are amazing. So what you do is you call the bank up and you don't get your credit report pulled. None of that yet. You don't do this yet. You already know what your fixed income is going to be a month. So say you can't afford a $500 car payment, okay? And so you have a ballpark of where you want to be. So say there's a whatever vehicle you're looking for, and say the dealer is asking $22,000, okay? And I'm gonna have to be in that range at $500 and $20,000 to $30,000. So say they're asking $22,000. You get the VIN number. It's all online. You don't even have to go to the dealership first. You could do it right in your living room. Call your bank, your credit union. This is how mine works. You give them the VIN number, and mine will tell me exactly what they will not finance the car for. So they, say I call them and, hey, I'm looking for this car. This is it. This is the VIN number. And then she'll come back. It's like, okay, I could only loan $19,800 on that car. And what she says is $19,008. That would be the deal you make. And then you got the taxes, title, registration. All that doesn't even matter. That doesn't count of part of that price. It's more or less the deal you come up with. So the bank will loan you $19,800 on that car. If they're asking $22,000, they're asking $2,200 too much. So now you know what price you could come in at with that dealership, with that car, to whatever salesman you're dealing with. And you may say, you know what, I want to get down more than 19. I'll give them 19.5, because if my bank says that's good, my bank is very fair. They're not going to loan on a vehicle that's going to be like upside down. So that means if you just admit, just say, okay, I guess I got to give them 22,000, you're in the hole already, $2,200, unless you put down that $2,200 as a down payment, and then it's like, okay, the bank will still only loan you 19.8. So more or less, you get the VIN number, whatever vehicle you want to buy, give it to your bank. They'll come back to you and be like, yeah. So say you have a list of 3 cars, 4 cars. We had 2 vehicles that we wanted. And primarily the one I was really, and the thing is, you get to check out the CarMax, look at that, see if it was any accidents, is it accident free, which is a plus. Was it maintained? Does it have records of getting oil changes? The vehicle we got was a lease by a private party. It was maintained every single oil change, like 4,800,000 miles, that 9,800. Like they say, this vehicle every 5,000. Maintained, the tires rotated, air filter replaced. It was just this vehicle was maintained, and so check out the CarMax. That's the other plus side. when you shop online. You do all your homework online for your vehicles. Okay, now you know what the bank says. Like, okay, well, how much would that cost? Say, and you can ask them, okay, do a 5-year loan, 4-year loan, 72-month loan. I wouldn't get really more than that, unless you want to take advantage of the lower car payment, and then at the end of the year do like a 3,000 lump sum payment if you're able to do that to get the year down faster. You could pay the car off much faster doing it like that. So you get all that information from your bank. You already know as far as, okay, that car that marks a check, I can only give 19.8 for that car. That does not, like I said, that does not include your tax, title, and registration and so forth. Dealer handling fees, all that. All that doesn't matter. That's the way my credit union works. It's more or less like if I tell the guy, I'll give you 18,000 for that car out the door. There's more, and then they work the deal, whatever. All those extra taxes and all that added onto that, that doesn't matter. Per my credit union, which is actually pretty cool. So now you got that done. Okay, so now you already know before you even stop at that dealer. There's the next important thing. Call your insurance broker, call your insurance agent, give them the VIN number, and find out how much insurance is on that vehicle. When that price comes back, say you're looking for a hot rod or something like that, or fast car, or muscle car, Mustang or Camaro, whatever. If you're on a budget, you're going to stay away from those kind of cars, cars like Hellcats or Camaros or so forth. Certain cars that are not higher price in insurance, because speeding tickets, or that car is like a more common car that's getting stolen. There's a lot of factors why insurance prices are the way they are. And what other reasons they are, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I always wheel and deal and shop with my broker no matter what. So now you know how much insurance is on a vehicle, even before you step foot at the dealership. So now you got that number together. And so say for that vehicle, say your payment's $350 for the car payment, and your insurance is, say, another $120. So that's $470. $500 was your number to stay in your 60% fixed income, but fixed income expenses. You don't want to be more than 60. I know, I'm sure there are millions of Americans. A lot of people are hurting. I'm not going to say everyone, but by doing these steps, these simple steps, you got all your information together. Now you go to the dealership. Play cool. Just be real cool. Don't even mention about a car payment. Don't say, well, I want my car payment between here and there. Don't play that game. Let's get rid of that game. These dealers are just like, they took advantage of this. I think this started in the 90s, early 90s, I think. If I'm not, if I remember correct, late 80s. And I'm like, what the hell? The guy's like, I remember going in, it's like, well, how much can you afford? It's like, well, I really don't want to spend more than 24 grand. He's like, oh no, your car payment. It's like, dude, it's none of your freaking business when I want my car payment. I already did my research. I already did my homework. So now you're playing cool. You check out the car, and now is when you like it. Everything meets all the, check boxes. Maybe something doesn't hit right. Maybe you're like, the tires are a little bald. So what you do is you start looking at the flaws. Okay. You like the car, but you start looking at the negatives. You stress the negatives to the salesman. And I remember telling my wife, let me do my deal. Let me do my thing. The tires, yeah, they're so-so. They may last another year or so. The vehicle had 20,000 miles on it. So the dude must have did a lot of highway driving. Car's only a year old. It's a 23. But so say you got low, like, tires that need to be replaced. Maybe maybe it wasn't detailed real good. I don't know. You pick out some flaws and kind of just like focus on those with the salesman. So now you take it for a test drive, making sure everything's good. You let go of the wheel, make sure the alignment's straight. Unless your rolls are cocked, the car's going to veer to the right. If it veers to the left, you have a front end issue. Roads are tilted; they have a slight pitch, and now you're getting ready to haggle, right? So you sit down, and the guy's got the price, and then when he starts, and you already know you're using your bank. Don't tell him you're using your bank. Don't tell him you got a trade in. I'm done trading in cars because that's when you get screwed. You're better off either donate your car or sell it outright. Don't give it to a dealer ever. So you sit down and you just start talking about, I'm gonna have to get tires probably in a year. That's gonna run me $1,000, because it needs this type of tire or whatever. It's like, oh man, and this is going on. It's like, well, it's a little bit high miles. And now remember, you already know the Carfax of this vehicle. You want to clean. You don't want a vehicle that's not, terrible. Even if I'm going to say one thing, if the Carfax even says it's been in an accident, it might have been a bumper to bumper deal. If it's once it's reported, if you have a policeman come and they report it and all that, that's considered an accident. Even though you were in a bumper, you had a little bump, scratch on the bumper, no structural damage or whatever, that can get onto the Carfax. Now, if it was major structural, you won't know. I mean, obviously, you may have to look under the car. I mean, there's just things you just have to be careful. If you're not comfortable with seeing a car that says been in an accident, don't even look at it. Walk away. Find a car. Try to find one owner, and that was no accidents that's been maintained. So here we are. We're negotiating now, right? So we're sitting down, and they're going to say anything they want. You got to remember, the guy that's sitting there in front of you, he's the bottom of the pile. He's at the bottom. You got the pit crew you got to deal with. You got the pit boss, I should say, not crew, the pit boss. And they're the one that's going to make the decision. Because the car salesman, they want to make as much money as they can, but they don't have the final choice at all. They could go to the GM, assistant GM, to maybe the main GM, and they could end up going to the owner. I've been to the owner with buying vehicles at least 5 times on my hands during my lifetime because I'm just that tough with the salesman. All right, get on my way. No offense, but I get the assistant manager, no. And then all of a sudden the GM comes down, and then, they see me. I'm like, I mean, they're making, do you want this deal or not? And like I said, I've had the owner come down. Not always, 5 times. So now the guy wanted 22,000, right? Your bank said 19,800. That's your number. You won't walk. You cannot just like let them take you. I knew what I was told, what was approved for the vehicle. And believe it or not, I got it down $3,500 of what my bank was going to give me the green light for. And so I'm already like, cool. I still had a little money down, whatnot. But no, we went back and forth. He was showing me all these stats. And he's like, well, around this perimeter, there's only 20 of these like this for sale. And we're like number this or that. And then I saw one that was like 4,000 cheaper, right? From what they were asking, but it had like 60,000 miles on it. And who knows if it had structural damage, body damage. I don't know. This one was a one owner and it was clean. And then there was vehicles that were almost 8 to 10,000 more expensive. 8 to 10,000 more expensive. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, oh, dude, that was your dumbest thing you did to me. You just gave me information that there's cheaper stuff. And I don't, I'm like, I don't care. That means there's cheaper numbers out there. And, the guy was funny because he came back. I gave him a number and he came back. The number didn't even change. It was still what they were asking on the sticker. I was like, dude, you didn't even move. And he was trying to show me all this stuff. I'm like, nope. That ain't going to happen with me. And then I think I could have got another $500 off. And because I said, okay, fine, I'll give you this much amount and then I'll take it. He wrote that down and drew a line, put my name on it. I'm like, damn it, I could have got more down. So I still did good, but it's the point of I could have done better, so I pissed myself off. But these are the tricks you want to do. You want to get the VIN number. You want to check out the Carfax. Call your bank. Have it if you don't have a credit union. I strongly advise get a credit union. They'll actually tell you what they'll borrow against on that car to you, and then you're dealing with them. Better interest rates by far, and and now there's another one with the credit unions. They offer warranties. Okay, so the deal went through. Everything was cool. And I wrote a check, and for my down payment. I'm like, okay, cool. So the remaining balance, I didn't even get my credit report pulled. My gal was out for a few days, and I had to wait for her to get back. I'm like, okay, I got all the information. I uploaded the entire document. My wife, we signed everything, sent everything to my bank. And unless you got very good credit and you're financially stable, I may not recommend you doing that. Get yourself approved first with your bank. So get your pre-approval done and all that stuff. But so after it was all done and said, then we went to the finance manager and they had to do all the proper paperwork. And then all of a sudden she's offering warranties. The car still has a warranty. It's still under warranty. And the one warranty was like $3,400. She's like, well, today I could give it to you for like $2,800 and it covers all this stuff. Except for common like brakes, windshield wiper, common wear and tear type of things. And my bank, $1,200. It was a 5 year and 100,000 or 80,000, 84,000 miles, and for $1,200. I didn't buy it because the car is still under warranty, so I'm not like obligated to get it yet. But the finance manager, you can see in her face, she was like, she wasn't happy with me. But so you go in there and you just haggle a cost. You already know your car payment through your own personal bank. And this is where car dealerships are getting people. They are really taking advantage of all these people. And I don't even know how people are affording $1,200, $1,500 payments. I mean, I heard repos are up at the highest they've ever been. And this experience, by doing these steps, find your car, check out the Carfax, and maybe pick 2 or 3 cars. Don't get crazy and, like really stick to what you want, what model and make you really want. And go to your bank, call them up. You do all this over the phone. You don't even have to leave your couch. Give them the VIN number and this and that. And kind of like, okay, well, how much of a payment would that be? Ballpark, this and that. And then you'll know how much you're able to afford. And plus, you have a lower interest rate. And then call your car insurance guy or gal and get your quote on how much the insurance is going to be. Because that may say, nope, I'm not buying that car because insurance is too much. You could even ask him or her what vehicles are more affordable with insurance. So that's just another tip. Now you have all this information that you need. And now you could go to the dealership and test drive the car, enjoy it. Just like, playing along with the whole deal. And then you already know your number in your head. And you know that sticker price is a little bit too high. There may be dealers out there that are, a lot of them are. I'm not a fan. I don't think a lot of people are because it is a stressful moment. A vehicle is kind of your second most expensive item you'll purchase versus a home, unless you're a renter, but still rent is your highest cost or having a mortgage and then your vehicle. 2 things you need. You need transportation. You need shelter. And it's like, what can you do to kind of like beat the system? And when I mean beat the system, I mean at least getting the best deal for your money that you can. So then you do your deal. Do your deal with the car. And if they can't come to terms of that say 19.8, you walk away. Like I can't do it, you know? Regardless if you're going to do a down payment, say you're going to do a down payment of $1,000. I guess you could play with that number and it's like, okay, well, we could do the car for 20. But the bank, that's $200 more. Or 19.8, yeah, that's $200 more. So if you put the under $200, if you really wanted it, but to really pay $2,200 more than what your bank approves, like says it's worth, don't do it. Now you're legitimately upside down from day one. Literally, what they were asking for this vehicle, my bank approved more. I knew it was a great deal. It was already a great deal. And I got it down more. Kudos to me. So to make this whole experience for you all out there buying vehicles, don't start out at the dealership. You could look at the dealership online, pick what you want, call your bank, and try to make sure your monthly fixed costs are no more than 60% of your net income monthly, of your net monthly income. And I know there's a lot of Americans, things are expensive, but these are the tips I'm going to give you, and it's going to make your experience so much easier. We're literally going there tomorrow to pick up the vehicle, and the check's supposed to arrive tomorrow from my bank. That's why we had to wait. My gal was out a few days, so we would have had it last week, but because she had something else going on, and I have a small credit union, but I love them. I love them. Get a credit union, guys. I can't stress it any, more than that. And see what happens. Leave in the comments what kind of experiences you have, what tricks you do when you go buy a car. What are your stressful moments? Like I said, I don't make it stressful. I try to make it as easy as possible. And it took less than 3 hours to do the whole thing with a dealer. We just go there tomorrow, pick up the keys, and drive away. So, guys, thanks for watching. Gals, hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. And share this video amongst others who are in the, looking to buy a car, and little tricks of what to do. I wouldn't say tricks, tips of what to do to make your car buying experience the ultimate experience where it's less stressful. My wife and I, she hates doing this stuff. I'm like, well, how was it? She was like, it wasn't that bad at all. So I already did all the homework. I did all the work beforehand, and we knew what we wanted. We were just hoping the vehicle met our expectations for the money, and it did. So I'm going to get another video out of what we bought. All right, guys, again, hey, be legendary, be great. See you on the next one.